Hello, my name is Elizabeth Stewart, and I am presenting Group 12, which is acute complication of diabetes. And along with me, Sara and Uniquea are doing the other two parts of this presentation. So, the acute complications of diabetes include diabetic ketoacidosis, hypoglycemia, and hyperosmolar hyperglycemic ketoacidosis. That's a big word. So in this set of videos, you will learn how to prevent high and low blood sugars and how to maintain your blood sugar. So the first of the acute complications that I'm going to talk about, but before I do that, I want to just review the pathology of diabetes. And so diabetes is a disease that results in having too much sugar in the blood. The pancreas is not able to produce enough insulin to move the glucose from the blood into the cells. So the first complication is diabetic ketoacidosis, and this is an absence of an adequate amount of insulin in the blood. So the sugar is very high. And there are three complications of diabetic ketoacidosis: hyperglycemia, which means too much sugar in the blood, dehydration, and electrolyte loss. So electrolyte loss means that your sodium and your potassium may be too low, and dehydration means that you just don't have enough fluid in your body. And then the third complication is a state of acidosis. Now, this is a metabolic state that the body is in, and it's because there's too much hydrogen in the body. So it moves the body into a state of fatigue and lethargy and kind of drowsiness. And along with those symptoms, you have a sense of excessive thirst and excessive urination. Like I said, a lot of fatigue and lethargy and just a sense of being out of it, a headache, blurred vision, and fruity breath. That's another symptom of hyperglycemia. So when a diabetic is in this state, it generally means it's a trip to the into the ER, because you don't want to just take more insulin. You want to call your provider, and most likely your provider will say, well, you need to go into the ER. So the next state is just the opposite of hyperglycemia. It's hypoglycemia. It's where you don't have enough sugar in your blood. So it's below 70 milligrams per deciliter. So there are three kinds of hypoglycemia. There's mild, moderate, and severe. So with mild hypoglycemia, like say 70 or a little bit below, you're going to see an increase in the heart rate, some sweating, some tremors. The patient is going to experience hunger. They're also going to have some nervousness, some restlessness, and perhaps palpitations, along with an increase in the heart rate. So when you have moderate hypoglycemia, which is a little bit more severe, you have definitely a headache, and you're lightheaded, and you may experience some confusion, some slurred speech, some numbness in your lips or your tongue, impaired coordination, some mood changes, some anxiety, some anticipation, some double vision. You could experience some drowsiness as well. And your behavior could just be irrational because you're not thinking clearly. So the last state, and this is a very serious state that's going to get you in the ER and probably to ICU, is severe hypoglycemia, and the symptoms of this are seizures, a difficulty in arousing, and a loss of consciousness. So this is not to be taken lightly. It's you have to go to the hospital. So the very last acute complication is called hyperosmolar hyperglycemic diabetic ketoacidosis. And this is a state where there is just too much sodium in the blood and way too much sugar in the blood. So this is caused by acute illness or an infection, medications, or dialysis. And maybe in dialysis they've taken too much water off of you. The signs and symptoms of this condition are hypotension. Your blood pressure is going to be extremely low. You're going to experience dehydration. You just don't have enough fluid in your body. Seizures, tachycardia, which means that your pulse is over 100. Hemiparesis, and altered consciousness, like you could possibly have hallucinations. So this again is a state of being that's going to end you up in the ICU. So thank you. I hope that was adequate, and I'm going to pass on the rest of the presentation to Sara and Uniquea.